Hello and welcome to this mindfulness video on behalf of the Stuart Low Trust. My name is Katie. Thank you for joining me today. So today we are going to be talking about mindfulness and how it relates to gratitude, and how gratitude can really improve our well-being and quality of life. So just a brief recap of what mindfulness is. It is basically about practicing being in the moment without judgment, and to work with our present experience, to accept our present experience. So mindfulness is very good for us. We've already talked about that, very good for our well-being, and so is gratitude. So if we can work gratitude into mindfulness, can really help to enhance our lives. So gratitude is basically about noticing, because until we notice things, we can't be grateful for them. And mindfulness is basically noticing what is happening, what is around us, and what is in us from moment to moment. And as human beings, we have a tendency to look for problems because our minds are designed to problem solve. And that has kind of ensured our survival as a species to a certain extent. We are looking for threats on the horizon like meerkats, and that can be a really good thing. But it can also get in the way of our happiness and our contentment and our joy, and our gratitude. We don't notice the good things because we're too busy looking for the negative things that we want to solve. And all too often, the negative things are things that we can't solve, or at least we can't solve easily. So the more we become attuned to the positive things, and they may be very little things to be grateful for, the more contentment we tend to feel, rather than being very attuned to all the negative things that we want to change. So we notice more about the things that are going on, under our noses, that we don't tend to think about. Mary Davis once said, "The more grateful I am, the more beauty I see." And I think that's true, that the more you practice being grateful, the more you notice how much there is to be grateful for. And I'm not talking about ignoring the things that we want to change, or suppressing all the negative things that happen, that we experience, and so-called negative emotions and difficult things that we experience. I'm not talking about suppressing those or pushing them away. I'm talking about becoming more attuned to the positive things to kind of help balance those things out. And David Whyte, who I believe is a poet, he once said that gratitude is not a passive response to something we have been given. Gratitude arises from paying attention, from being awake in the presence of everything that lives within us and without us. And we also tend to live our lives as though happiness, contentment, joy are things that are in the future. So we tend to tell ourselves things like, if only I could have this, then I'll be happy. If only I didn't have this, then I could be happy. Or I could relax. If I got this, then I could relax. And what tends to happen is that we're constantly living our lives in the future, and we forget to actually come back to the present moment, which is all we have, really. So our happiness, our contentment tends to be very conditional. It tends to relate to what conditions are. And in this way, we tend to, kind of rush through our starter to get to the main course, and then we're rushing our main course to get to the dessert. So we're constantly kind of chasing the future, and we forget to kind of taste the starter and taste the main course and taste the dessert, and really enjoy those experiences and experience them as an enriching experience. And again, noticing the small things kind of counting our blessings, I suppose you could say, call it counting our blessings, can really we really kind of notice more and more, just kind of walking down the street, being able to walk, noticing our senses, being able to see and hear and smell and touch and taste. And just what a miracle that is, really, being able to do that. And we tend to take those things for granted because they are everyday experiences for us. They don't seem special anymore. But actually, the more we pay attention, the more special they become, and the more our experiences shifts into something more magical. And sometimes we only notice these things, if they're under threat. People who may have lost their sense of taste and smell through COVID actually may never have really paid attention or been grateful for those senses before. But when you lose something, or when it becomes under threat, that's when we tend to appreciate it more. And what mindfulness does is we don't have to wait until we lose something or something's under threat. We can just appreciate it in the moment. There's a piece of writing, I can't remember who said this, I think it's Bo Taplin, I believe. She said, "I'm beginning to realise that real happiness isn't something large and looming on the horizon, but something small, numerous, and already here. The smile of someone you love, a decent breakfast, the warm sunset, your little everyday joys, all lined up in a row." And I think that's a nice way of putting it. I think we can all think of many more lists when we start to think about the things that we're grateful for. Just the little things in our lives that bring us joy. Then the list becomes endless. And this is the beauty of it. There's always something to be grateful for, even though in our darkest times it can be very, very hard to see those things. It's cultivating that noticing, that gratitude, that can really help us in those darkest times. So I'd like you, we're just going to try a short exercise. And I would recommend doing this every day, actually, on your own or with someone else. And the exercise is basically naming 3 things that you're grateful for in this moment. And they could be anything. They could be small, they could be big, they could be relating to people or feelings or the world around you, whatever pops into your head. So I'd like you to pause this video in a moment and to maybe make a list of those 3 things in this moment. 3 things that you're grateful for. Okay, so if you'd like to pause the video now and make that list. Okay, welcome back. I hope that that you found 3 things that you were grateful for in this moment. And it may be that if you did struggle with that, the more you pay attention, the more you discover the things that you're grateful for. And to kind of notice those little things that we tend to take for granted. So I'd like to read you a story, as I'm in my Jackanory chair today, showing my age a bit there. So this is a story, I think it's been kind of done in different ways by many people, but this is by Anthony de Mello, who was a Jesuit priest and practiced a lot of mindfulness. So this story is called Happiness, and it goes like this. I'm in desperate need of help, or I'll go crazy. We're in a single room, my wife, my children, and my in-laws. So our nerves are on edge. We yell and scream at one another. The room is a hell. Do you promise to do whatever I tell you? Said the master. I swear I shall do anything. Very well. How many animals do you have? a cow, a goat, and 6 chickens. Take them all into the room with you, then come back after a week. The disciple was appalled, but he had promised to obey. So he took the animals in. A week later he came back, a pitiable figure moaning, "I'm a nervous wreck. The dirt, the stench, the noise, we're all on the verge of madness." "Go back," said the master, "and put the animals out." The man ran all the way home and came back the following day, his eyes sparkling with joy. "How sweet life is! The animals are out. The home is a paradise, so quiet and clean and roomy." So that's just a little illustration of how our perspective can shift and change and we can kind of be more grateful for what we have, and I think it's quite funny as well, which helps. Okay, so I think we'll do some mindfulness practice now. We're going to do a version of the body scan, which is kind of quite a staple mindfulness exercise, and it's basically I will talk you through different parts of your body and paying attention to them. But today we're going to add an element of gratitude to that practice. So if you'd like to get yourself as comfortable as possible, we'll begin. So just beginning by allowing your eyes to close if you want to, or if you prefer, you can lower your gaze to the floor, and just making sure you're as comfortable as possible in this moment. And just beginning by bringing your awareness to your breathing. Allowing your awareness to rest on the gentle, natural rhythm of your breathing. And as best you can, just staying with your present experience. Noticing any thoughts that come and go, any judgments, and letting them go. Allowing them to fade into the background. Focusing on this breath and this moment. And taking a moment to appreciate the fact that you are breathing right now. And breathing is happening naturally and effortlessly. And taking your awareness all the way down to your feet. And taking a moment to appreciate your feet. Appreciate being able to stand or walk or balance. And any work that your feet do on a daily basis. Noticing the soles and tops of your feet, the toes and the heels. I'm just taking a gentle breath in, and on the out breath, just allowing the muscles in your feet to soften and relax. And just bringing your awareness to your legs, your lower legs, your calf muscles, your shins, your knees, your thighs, all the way up to your hips. And once again, just taking a moment to appreciate your legs. If you're able to walk or stand, just appreciating that. Appreciating the fact that you don't have to think about it, it just happens for you. And just noticing any sensations that come and go in your legs from moment to moment. And taking a gentle breath in as you breathe out in your own time, just allowing the muscles in your legs to relax. And bringing your awareness to your back, all the way up your spine, from your lower back and into your shoulder blades, noticing any sensations that come and go. And just taking a moment to appreciate all the work that your back does to support the rest of your body. And just taking a gentle breath in, and on the out breath, just allowing all the muscles in your back to soften and relax. Knowing that right now they don't need to be tense. You can allow them to relax. And bringing your awareness round to your stomach and your chest. Just noticing them in this moment and any sensations that come and go. And just taking a moment to appreciate all your internal organs, your stomach, all the organs around it, your lungs, your heart, your ribs, and all the work that these organs do without us having to do anything. The way they all work to keep us alive, to nourish us. And just taking a gentle breath in, and on the out breath, just allowing the muscles in your stomach and chest to soften and relax. And just bringing your awareness to your arms and your hands. Noticing any sensations that come and go in your arms and hands as best you can. And just taking a moment to appreciate the work that your arms do, the work that your hands do. Appreciate your sense of touch. And just taking a gentle breath in, and on the out breath, just allowing the muscles in your arms and your hands to soften and relax. And bringing your awareness to your neck and your head. Taking a moment to appreciate your neck supporting your head. Any sensations that come and go. Noticing your scalp down through your forehead, your eyelids, your temples, your cheeks, and your jaw. And taking a moment to appreciate your sense of hearing, being able to hear all your favourite sounds, your favourite music, your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your sense of taste. And appreciating how all your senses can help you to come back to the present moment, to appreciate the present moment, and to enjoy the present moment. And seeing if you can just appreciate this present moment, even though there may be things that you want to change. You would rather that they were a certain way. Seeing if you can accept the way things are in this moment and appreciate them. And just breathing with your whole body, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Breathing with the present moment. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And just taking your time, you can have a stretch if you want to. And just sitting quietly for a few minutes. So I hope you enjoyed today's meditation and introduction. Thank you for joining me. I would encourage you to maybe make a list every day. It could just be a mental list in your head of things that you're grateful for. And I would recommend doing this with another person actually. I did this with a friend a little while back where we agreed to send each other, I think it was 3 things that we were grateful for every day. So we would do it at night. And it was more kind of motivating to do it with someone else because and interesting as well to see what their list was like and whether they kind of crossed over at all. Yeah, so it's easier to kind of motivate yourself to do it if there's someone else involved. But you can just do it for yourself and maybe go back and look at your previous lists. It's just a way of becoming more attuned to those things that we're and more grateful for the things that we notice and noticing more and letting that kind of build up. And as I said before, that makes you become more attuned to the positive things and can help us deal with difficult things better. Okay, so I would encourage you to keep on practicing mindfulness wherever you can, however you can. Please don't forget to check out the Stuart Low Trust website, which is slt.org.uk. I will put my website under the YouTube video so you can check that out as well. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave me a comment or a question or a suggestion. You're very welcome to do that. And I'll leave you with this quote from Robert Brault. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And he said, "Enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realise that they were the big things." Okay, thanks once again for joining me today.